In the last video, we started to look at the sitemap created by the Yoast SEO plugin, and we decided that some of these sitemaps, like the author sitemap, which essentially just lists posts by a given author, so there's the Andy sitemap, there's all the posts, well, those links are all included in the post sitemap. And things like the page sitemap is not that useful for me because of the way I use pages. So what I want to do is show you how the Yoast SEO plugin can allow you to customize what is included on your sitemap. The way it works is if you go down to the SEO settings of the Yoast SEO plugin, then you can turn your sitemap on or off over here on the General tab, Features, and if we scroll down a little bit, you see XML sitemaps on. If it's off at the moment, turn it on and then save changes. And to view where your sitemap is, if you click on the little question mark, there is a link to see the sitemap, and the sitemap will then open in a new window. What we're going to do is have a look and see how we set the default values of what's included and what isn't. And we do that over on the Search Appearance section. On the content types, we've got posts, we've got pages. And at the top, we've got Show Posts in Search Results. If you select Yes, then you're going to get the posts sitemap, and that's what we want. For pages, it's the same. If you select Yes, then you're going to get the pages sitemap. Now, I don't want the pages sitemap, so I'm going to say no to that. The thing is, if there is a page that we do want to include in the search results, then we can override this setting from the Yoast SEO plugin by going into individual page settings, and we'll see that shortly. So I've now effectively turned pages off on my sitemap, and if I refresh, you see the pages sitemap has now disappeared. If we go over onto the taxonomies, we can decide whether to include the categories and tags in the sitemap. I like to include categories and I like to include tags. These are the category pages and the tag pages. The reason I like to include them is that my category pages and my tag pages usually have a nice introduction at the top, and then it lists all of the links to the articles in that category or tag, and so it works as a page on its own. If I was just using category pages to just list all the posts in the category, then I would turn them off. But for me, I'm going to leave them turned on. And this formats one down the bottom is another one that I will just turn off. So I'm going to save those changes. And then finally the archives. Remember, in the sitemap, I don't want the author sitemap. And we've got the option again, show author archives in search results. No, that effectively removes it from the sitemap. Date archives, you can include those in the search results, yes or no. I'm going to say no. And then special pages, there isn't an option for that, but let's just save those changes. And if we go back to my sitemap and refresh, we can see we've now cut it down to posts, category pages and tag pages, and that's what I want. Now, I said that if there was a single post or a single page that you actually wanted in the search results, even though you specified that you didn't in the default settings, then you can override that setting. So let me show you how that works. If I go into my post sitemap, then we see a list of all the posts. Let's take one of these as an example, and we'll take this last one, Nikon Z series. If I find the Nikon Z series post and go into the edit screen, then scroll down to find the Yoast settings, and we want the advanced tab, then you can see that it says here, allow search engines to show this post in the search results. It says use the default for posts, currently set to yes. If it was a post I didn't want in the search results, I can actually set it to no and then update. And let's just do that, and I can show you what happens, because two things happen. Firstly, if we go over to the sitemap and refresh, watch what happens to that last entry. It disappears. So it's been removed from the sitemap, but the important thing that's happened is actually in the code of the web page itself. If I right click and go to view source code, I'm going to type F3 on my keyboard, and I've typed in a search phrase no index, and you can see here that WordPress, or more precisely the Yoast SEO plugin, has added a meta tag for the robots saying no index, don't index this page, ignore this page. So that's effectively how the Yoast SEO plugin works. If you say you don't want it to appear in the search engines, it adds this no index follow tag to those posts and pages. If you override it, or you say yes you do want it to appear in the search results, then that meta robots tag isn't included. And I can show you that if we just go back and we go back to edit the post, and we'll go back down here and we'll say to use the default setting, which is yes. And then once that's saved, we'll open the post, view the source code. I'm going to press F3 to find no index, and you can see that no index now is not found on the page because the Yoast SEO plugin has removed it from the web page. So now the search engines can spider it and the search engines can include it in the search results. And the same will happen for the pages. If you've got pages turned off and you say you don't want them to appear in the search results, then your sitemap is not going to have a pages sitemap. You can override the setting by saying yes, you do want it to be included in the search results, but you still won't get a pages sitemap. All that will do is it will remove that no index tag from that particular page, and Google will find it that way. So that's how the Yoast SEO plugin works and how you can configure your sitemap to only include the most important pages on your website. What I would suggest you do is that once you have your sitemap up and running, is to go over to the General tab, Features, scroll down to Sitemaps, find your sitemap URL, and it's just that last bit after the domain, and then log into your Google Search Console and go over to the Sitemaps menu on the left, and then at the top here type in the URL of your sitemap, click on Submit, and you can see there that mine was submitted on September the 5th 2015, last read July the 5th 2019. As I record this, it's the 9th of July, so it came 4 days ago to find my URLs.